Howdy, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody is having a good weekend. And make sure everything's up and running here. And then we will go ahead and play the intro and get started. Today we're going to be finishing the 6G paper. We've got a little bit of reading left to do, and then after we do the reading, we're going to sum it up. I'm going to do questions. I'm going to do some Q&A and stuff after the reading. I'm not going to be looking at chat and whatnot until after we get done with the reading. So I will get to that. Give everybody just a few moments to join in and get ready. And then we'll get started. So hang around, guys, and let's go ahead and play the intro.
On Saturday. We'll have a pint to celebrate.
Alrighty, guys. I hope everybody enjoyed the little intro clip. I love the little end. Something strange inside that guy's head. Get that a lot. But now you guys are starting to see, hopefully, what we're seeing now that we've read through this whole paper, and there's definitely more to come. So if you guys have seen the last couple parts, we're going to start with some grammar because that's very important. So we've got just a few terms for this section. Let's go ahead and get those going. Let me move myself over. There we go. And I can get there. Awesome. Cool. Alrighty. So, the first of our terminology for today is surface plasmon polariton waves. Graphene leash confined electromagnetic waves that travel along the interface of a conductor, such as graphene, and a dielectric. These allow nano antennas to radiate efficiently inside the body. This confirms that graphene is used to create a plasmonic communication channel within human tissue, turning the human body into a conductive medium for the control grid. Next, wireless network on chip. Silicon synapse, a technology to replace wired connections on microchips with wireless links in the terahertz band. In the context of human augmentation, this is the architecture for brain-computer interfaces, allowing the nano network to bypass organic nerves and transmit data directly between implanted processors. Bio-cyber interface. Soul siphon, a gateway device described as capable of converting molecular signals such as your hormones, DNA, chemistry into electrical signals, data, and transmitting them to external devices. This is the literal translation layer between man and machine, digitizing human biology for the metaverse. And if you've been watching, you know meta means dead. Diffusion-based molecular communication. This is the chemical dragnet, a method where information is encoded not in radio waves, but in the concentration, intensities, and release times of molecules flowing through the blood or lymph. The system uses your own bodily fluids as the data cables, encoding control signals into the very chemistry of your existence. Quantum teleportation, the instantaneous shackle, the use of quantum entanglement to transmit unknown quantum states between remote devices. In the control grid, this implies the ability to instantly update or alter the state of a human node via their digital twin across any distance, bypassing the speed of light limits of traditional radio. No cloning theorem, the absolute mark, a quantum mechanical principle stating that arbitrary quantum state cannot be copied. In the context of financial panopticon, this is the ultimate digital rights management DRM for the soul, a unique, unforgettable identifier for every human unit that ensures no one can spoof their identity or escape the ledger, such as your real ID, your DNA. Piezoelectric nanogenerators, the parasitic power plant, a mechanism described in the white paper for self-powered nano things. These devices harvest vibrational energy from the environment or the host body movements or heartbeat to power the surveillance modes inside. The subject's own life force powers their shackles. And the last term, nano routers, the bloodstream wardens, devices with higher computational power than simple nodes. They control the behavior of nanonodes such as smart dust inside the body, aggregating data and determining the optimal paths for signal forwarding. They are traffic cops of the internal surveillance state, managing the flow of your bio data to the external gateway. So those are the terms for this section. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to put myself away. We're going to bring up our reading for today. And we do have just a bit of reading to get through. I'm not going to read every single bit of it. Some of it I'm going to kind of skim through because this is a very long last section. This is the last section. The next section 12, and it does end on a Masonic 13, which is par for the course. But those last two sections are just kind of like a timeline, and then conclusions, which is not really a section. It's just like the credits and citations. So this is the last major section, section 11, technologies for beyond 6G. After we do the reading, then if people want to ask questions or comments or whatnot, I will get to those. But while I'm reading, I'm not going to try and pay attention to two things at once. And so we're just going to go ahead and get through this, and then we're going to start to sum everything up. We're going to go back to regular English. We're going to explain what the coded language is about, go through some of the notes, and do some Q&A. All right. So, Section 11, Technologies for Beyond 6G. Thus far, we have presented in great detail the key drivers that are expected to play an integral role in the next generation of wireless networks. However, in addition to those, we also note the presence of several promising early-stage technologies that are tipped to revolutionize how we perceive data communications in the near future. To this end, in this section, we discuss 3 such promising paradigms: the Internet of Nano Things, the Internet of Bio-Nano Things, and quantum communications, which is definitely something that I don't have a lot of experience in. I'll try my best to articulate and explain the quantum communication stuff to you, but we're not going to go too deep into that, no more than really is needed to convey the message. But these are basically 3 sections in one, and so some of it we will go into, as I said, with a little bit more depth than before. All right. So the first is the Internet of Nano Things. In addition to the need for more spectrum resources to accommodate a plethora of wireless devices and services, a variety of transformative wireless communication scenarios are also envisioned to become a reality in the near future. In particular, with the advent of wireless ubiquity, we note the existence of situations where electromagnetic waves do not yield acceptable performance or lack reachability due to hardware. Limitations such as in high salinity water or intravascular channels, where the transmission range can be extremely short. In the aforementioned application scenarios for terahertz band communications, as the frequencies of operation increase, the wavelengths of signals fall into the nanometer range, such as 10 to the negative 9. So anytime you see a negative exponent, it becomes 1 over. So 10 to the negative 9 is 1 over 10 to the 9, which means the numbers are adding the zeros in front, so it's getting smaller as opposed to larger. 10 to the negative 9 to 10 to the negative 7th meter in size, thereby motivating studies on nano network communications. Different from those operating at lower frequencies in the microwave range, these devices and transceivers used in the Internet of Nano Things are in the scale of nanometers, and thus behave differently from classical wireless communication systems. Given the much smaller size, each nanothing consumes much less energy and is envisioned to be self-powered. And self-powered, they tell you right here, via vibrational energy harvesting. I'll say it again, via vibrational energy harvesting using piezoelectric nanogenerators. Besides conducting signal transmission tasks, the nanothings can also perform basic processing and data storage, as well as enabling new nanosensing capabilities with higher sensitivity. Current advancements in nanotechnologies provide several promising candidate materials with various dimensions for creating such nanomachines, including a thin strip of graphene named graphene nanoribones, graphene in the form of a 3D roll named carbon nanotubes, and graphene spheres. Communications in the paradigm of nano networks mainly falls under 2 categories, which are 1, encoded signal bits being carried with molecules, which follows a diffusion-based mechanism elaborated in this section is coming up in B1, and 2, plasmonic radiation on metamaterial-based antennas, including graphene and carbon nanotubes operating in the terahertz band. These plasmonic antennas leverage the physics of surface plasmon polariton waves, i.e. confined EM waves resulting from the global oscillations of electrons at the interface of a conductor material and a dielectric material, to efficiently radiate at the target resonant frequency while being much smaller than the corresponding wavelength. This property allows them to be integrated in a very dense arrays, beyond traditional antenna arrays. The ratio between the free space wavelength, and that's a symbol that represents wavelength, and the SPP wavelengths. This is how they assign it a symbol. So it is the symbol for a wavelength that just says SPP. So an SPP wave. It is known as the plasmonic confinement factor and depends on the plasmonic material properties and the operation frequency. The higher the confinement factor, the smaller the antennas, and the higher the density in which they can be integrated. Essential components in the Internet of Nano Things. Similar to traditional communication networks, several key components are seen in the Internet of Nano Things. Nanonodes are the basic functional units in the nano network and have sizes ranging from 1 to 100 nanometers and can form a cluster to forward and receive signals. A typical nano node with full transceiving capability contains the following elements: a nano antenna and a plasmonic nano transceiver based on graphene advancements to propagate the SPP waves, a nanoprocessor with operating frequency close to 1 terahertz, nano actuators, nano-sensors which can sense external force, gas molecules and biological objects such as antigens and antibodies, a nano memory which allows storage of a bit signal in a single atom, a nano battery, and an energy nano harvester which transfers energy to power other elements. So let me highlight that. It's pretty important. So let's see, those nano sensors right there that they're talking about, those are smart dust or something similar. And let's see, here's smart dust for people who have forgotten smart dust. Those right there are the nano actuators and nano sensors, NEMS, micro electromechanical systems that basically pull telemetry data. They can sense external force, molecules, and biological objects such as antigens and antibodies. So what's that? Biological objects such as antigens and antibodies. A nano memory, which allows storage of a bit signal in a single atom. Oh, and energy harvester. Don't forget that. So, great. Okay, let's move on. Limited by the computation capabilities and battery life, the signals are mostly pulse-based for the easiness of detection and transmission. Nano routers control the behavioral patterns of the nanonodes, aggregate information, and determine the optimal paths for signals to be forwarded. The nano routers are equipped with higher energy and computational resources. When a specific query is created from the command center, nano routers need to select the optimal routes that can reach the nanonodes to collect their data and report back. Due to the limited transmission range, a pulse-based signaling is preferred to access or to assess the reachable range of nanonodes in order to minimize outage probability and establish the desired routes. Gateways serve as the remote controller of the Internet of Nano Things and connect over the internet to service providers. The gateways can be common smart devices. It's an acronym: surveillance, monitoring, reporting technologies. There are other acronyms for smart, but it doesn't mean intelligent. So let's make sure that everybody's on the same page. It's never been smart as, oh, a phone's intelligent. No, it's been surveillance, monitoring, and reporting technologies. So they could be common spy devices, such as spy phones and spy tablets, among others, in order to achieve a manageable network with hundreds or even thousands of nanonodes dissipated in sophisticated communication environments. I think that deserves a highlight. Gateways should devise a holistic approach in disseminating commands and queries, coordinating between possible collisions, and processing noisy data, which requires a drastically different network framework than the conventional network architecture based on the arbitrary pattern of nanonodes. Potential solutions can be found with the assistance of artificial intelligence, which does not require a pre-established model for prediction. So really quick, let me just go ahead and show you the figures, because I know there's one right there. That is the figure that's right next to this section. Figure 14, application scenarios of molecular communications in the Internet of Nano Things and the Internet of Bio-Nano Things. Yeah, let's just spend a moment and zoom in on this. I think it needs a little bit of let's see. So this guy's just sitting in his room or something, and there are nano cameras on the wall and pervasive nano thing. Basically they've got multiple wireless links, but they're in the, I think that's a beanbag chair, and even that's spying on him. Jesus. Well, yeah, that's in the paper, so all right, let's get back to it. All right. It is worth noting that major device technology in the Internet of Nano Things is still under design and development. This was 2020. Mind you, the paper, yeah, here it is. Although a few steps of individual components, such as nano-sensors, have been made available, it is estimated that a major paradigm shift for the Internet of Nano Things is expected to occur in the second half of the 2020s, which we have just entered in 2026. Yeah, smart. And so again, Smart Dust has been around since 2001, and we're going to go ahead and I'll pull that up for you after we get done with this. But it's not really new. Okay, applications of the Internet of Nano Things. So this is going to explain all that spyware. It's just in the paint on the wall in the guy's room. In the realm of the Internet of Nano Things, applications can be primarily found in body area networks and short-distance local environments. 3 typical application scenarios are described as follows, and also illustrated in Figure 14. In Figure 14. All right. First, nano cameras. The nano cameras are based on nano photosensing and nanotechnology to sense, combine, and process light signals before transforming them into electric signals. This system includes nano photodetectors, nano lens and nano batteries, and nano memories. In order to achieve fine resolution imaging and signal processing, the nano cameras can be applied to a wide range of scenarios, including but not limited to intravascular imaging and fracture detection in oil pipelines, on-chip networks with microchips getting more compact in dimension. While the complexity of functionality grows, on-chip signal transmissions have become significantly more challenging. Currently, issues relating to CPU scalability and efficiency memory synchronization have driven research trends towards wireless network on-chip solutions, which can replace wired connections on conventional chips and take advantage of short-range communication in the nano network at the terahertz band frequencies. Nano robots, for in the Internet of Nano Things, the nano robots and nano networks can be deployed in environments such as nuclear power plants and oil pipelines, which might be hazardous for humans to perform tasks, but require high precision and do not allow massive drilling or digging over existing infrastructure. Under these circumstances, nano robots can be dissipated to sense and collect data relating to chemical concentration and fluid speed, among others. By forming ad hoc networks, the nano robots can aggregate and forward data packets to gateways in the Internet of Nano Things. Nano robots are also being widely researched in biomedical engineering fields, and to this end, in the next subsection, they're going to delve into the nano robots for healthcare applications, whatever that means. Open problems in the Internet of Nano Things. The significant size shrinkage brings three major challenges. The first one is power efficiency optimization. Even though nano devices consume power at the level of microwatts when transmitting femtosecond long pulses in order to cover a area of a few square meters, such as an office or a meeting room, the energy consumption factors in as a major constraint in maintaining a satisfying overall network performance. New designs on duty cycles for nano transceivers should be proposed and evaluated, as well as new clustering algorithms in order to group nano transceivers in close proximity for adaptive operations. The second open issue is interference control, which has been extensively studied in classic wireless network scenarios. However, the conventional approaches cannot be directly applied to the Internet of Nano Things realm due to the higher density of nano transceivers in space and pulse-based signal transmission schemes. Self-interference becomes the most prominent issue for nano transceivers when full duplex mode is deployed, and hence requires novel scheduling algorithms to mitigate this adversarial effect. Additionally, new modulation and coding schemes should be developed to fit the need of nano devices on spectral and power efficiency while maintaining a low probability of crosstalk among links. The third challenge resides in the network protocols, since the Internet of Nano Things will foreseeably function in a manner that is drastically different from the Internet of Things due to differences in channel conditions, limited scale of operation, as well as miniaturized devices. The protocol stack design still remains an open field for exploration. So that covers the very first subsection there. We're going to go ahead and go right into the next one after I take a drink. All right. The Internet of Bio-Nano Things for health applications. Because this is not going to be used for spyware, that, people who, they're just good, they would not do that to you. This is only going to be used for health. It's not like, it's not like they just had a diagram of like some guy being spied on by the paint in his room in the beanbag chair. They did not put that in the paper as figure 14. So, there's nothing to worry about, just for healthcare. Highly relevant to the Internet of Nano Things with its unique characteristics and applications is the concept of the Internet of Bio-Nano Things. First introduced in 2015, the Internet of Bio-Nano Things has garnered significant traction in its efforts to synergistically, it's an interesting word, synergistically combine telecommunications with healthcare solutions. Why? Why do they want to do that? The Internet of Bio-Nano Things is a network of molecules which can communicate with each other. The Internet of Bio-Nano Things is a network of molecules which can communicate with each other. The types of molecular communications include artificial cells, which act as gateways to translate between different molecule types, or a bio-cyber interface, which can convert molecular signals to electrical ones and transmit to external devices for further processing. In applications relating to human healthcare, the Internet of Bio-Nano Things harbors many unique challenges and opportunities. First, the interdisciplinary research on both communications and data analytics can greatly facilitate the modeling of biological processes, including cancer cell formations and Alzheimer's disease, and further design effective control measures for such diseases. Second, even though expressions of genetic codes at the cell and organ level can vary remarkably in a manner analogous to various types of data applications and wireless networks. Well, interesting here on that one. And basically, from my own experience, it would seem that this is kind of like an as above, so below thing. Very much so. The same way that these things work at that cellular and organ level, they're really small. They work very analogous to how data and wireless networks work. So really, I guess what I'm saying there is that this bleeds into occultism and esotericism very naturally when you get into this type of work. Yeah, communication models can be developed and exploited to conceive a generally applicable health information framework. Exploited to conceive a generally applicable. Okay. Third, the holistic network architecture envisioned in the Internet of Bio-Nano Things will integrate components at heterogeneous levels, including within cells and among tissues, organs, and as well as systems, before eventually connecting to the outside internet for physicians to perform metric evaluations and propose treatment plans accordingly. So this is just going to be for your doctor to help you. They're not going to be making any type of evaluations and treatment plans for larger issues, like population or anything. Yeah, they'll help you find healthcare solutions that are to be realized in such complicated biological and molecular environments. Should be built upon a solid understanding of the physics behind molecular communication and advanced statistical analysis tools in order to unveil the principles behind the seemingly random molecular movement. A solid understanding of the physics behind do you think, like, do we have this, or in order to unveil? So they don't really know, is what they're saying, and they're trying to find out. But to find out, they need that understanding, so they're kind of in a paradox, it seems like. Moving on. Essential communication models in the Internet of Bio-Nano Things. Different from classic wireless communication channels based on the propagation of electromagnetic waves, molecular communication MC channels rely on the mechanism of molecular movement to transmit information. The main difference between a MC channel and the classical wireless channel is that the transmission medium presents different forms, such as fluids of several chemical compositions in blood vessels, plasma, membranes of neurons, and so on. Based on the motion of molecules in such diverse mediums, end-to-end channel models have been developed to characterize the capacity, noise, and interference in various communication scenarios. Particularly in the diffusion-based MC model, information is encoded in various forms, for example, based on different concentration, intensities, and distinct release times of molecules. The nano device, acting as a transmitter, emits such encoded molecules to the wireless molecular channels. At the receiver side, another nano device decodes the signals based on the quantified received intensities or times of arrival, given that the channel remains stationary for the duration of transmission. In such transmissions, some molecules will get dispersed in the channel and will not be received by the target's nano device. They are hence treated as noise, and channels with such residual molecules are characterized as channels with memory. For such channels, the theories of fixed diffusion and particle location displacement are used to characterize the channel capacity as a function of a collection of parameters, including the diffusion coefficient in the channel, the temperature, the distance between end transceivers, and the bandwidth of the transmitted signal. The Internet of Bio-Nano Things and Public Health Applications. Late 2019 and 2020, I've seen the novel coronavirus disease named COVID-19 spread worldwide, causing high fatalities and a plethora of other public health issues. More generally, such outbreaks, including the severe acute respiratory syndrome SARS in 2002, the Middle East respiratory syndrome MERS in 2012, the Ebola virus disease in 2014, and the seasonal influenza, raise questions about the manner in which public health systems should react to such epidemics and pandemics. Again, this paper is from 2020, and so I think I am justified in saying hindsight is 2020, no pun intended, and that they don't effing belong there. I think it's answered the questions. Nobody thinks it has helped. It's actually made things very bad. But the widespread havoc caused by pandemics calls for effective means to identify new viruses, understand their mechanisms of viral infection, and devise efficient tools for treatment and vaccination. In order to facilitate the development of antiviral and preventative solutions, researchers have looked into creating biosensors that can monitor the cleavage of proteases within infected cells. Proteases are generated as a result of you guys aren't going to believe this, you ready for it? Get ready. The cell being infected by the genome of coronavirus, which is a type of RNA virus. Other byproducts include synthesized polyproteins, which can replicate and transcript, like transcription, to generate more RNAs, and structural proteins that can construct new virons. Two types of proteases found in the coronavirus that cause SARS and MERS are papain-like protease and 3C-like protease. The biosensor, which is based on luciferase, I can't make this stuff up. I can't. I seriously, I can't make this stuff up. Yeah. So they're using this biosensor, which is in all of these just totally coincidental pandemics, and it's called luciferase. Great. It's used to identify potential broad-spectrum coronavirus papain-like or 3C-like protease inhibitors. Let me pause right there because I have got a video clip for you. Let me cue that up, and I will play it for you. One moment. Here we go.
Gates-funded microneedle patch implant installs both mRNA and quantum dot markings into the body. Well, that is as dark as you can get.
Yeah, this is very, very worrisome. And I do believe that this is actually going to be the next mRNA platform, vaccine platform that they try and roll out at a wide scale. So first in 2019, Gates funded a study for the original development of these quantum dot implants. So it's a microneedle patch array. So it's got a bunch of mini needles. It's like a Band-Aid. You put it on your wrist, it dissolves, and it installs these quantum dot materials that last for at least 5 years. So they developed that in 2019. Now in 2025, Gates funded another study that shows just how advanced now this technology has become. It is advancing at a very fast pace. Now these microneedle patches can install literal quantum dot QR codes that can be read with AI with specialized cameras and decoded to store batch information, lot number, how many doses you received. There you go. They put it on the pig. That's what it looks like. It's a literal QR code. You will be marked. This lasts, again, for years, perhaps permanently. And this will be used as a biological vaccine passport system where you won't use your phone. You won't use the QR code on your phone to enter the store and travel. You will use your wrist where this material is embedded in your body. And so this is very dangerous. And this even earned a spot at the 2025 Global Vaccine Forum, where they had their own session on these microneedle patch implants. So this is planned for wide-scale deployment.
Yeah, what do you think about that? Crazy, eh? Crazy, 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 crazy. And that's what it's called right there. All right. The SARS-CoV-2 virons that cause the COVID-19 disease have a diameter of 50 to 200 nanometers approximately and infect the human respiratory system via human-to-human spread in the form of droplets discharged when an infected person coughs or sneezes. COVID-19 has thus far posed unprecedented challenges worldwide in testing, treatment, and vaccine deployment. The Internet of Bio-Nano Things is envisioned to have an immense potential in the molecular diagnosis of emerging viruses of this kind. The nano-sensors, which can be Firefly luciferase based or other reporter genes, those can be used to examine the reverse transcription, polymerase chain reaction in collected samples. Other tests include using bio-nano sensors to identify antibodies from blood samples to examine if a person is infected. In terms of treatment, although no antiviral drugs are available for COVID-19 yet, studies on influenza treatment can shed new light on the Internet of Bio-Nano Things and how it could assist in future solution development. A critical step for treatment is the antiviral intervention, which blocks the intracellular signaling pathways to prevent influenza viruses from replication. And so, so a reported solution is just to basically just give you E. coli. Yeah, okay. So, to prevent you from having the flu, they're going to give you E. coli. To trap the Ebola virus. Okay. In the reported work, the blood of a patient with the Ebola virus infection is transmitted to a microfluidic chamber tube outside the body, which contains the engineered bacteria. The scattered bacteria can then achieve protein binding with the Ebola virus using chemical bind force and synthetic protein binding receptors. More importantly, the Internet of Bio-Nano Things serves a unique role as a holistic solution to not only monitor limited types of cells, such as squamous epithelial cells from nasopharyngeal swabs for COVID-19 tests, but also across different tissues and systems. It is found that such coronaviruses can also cause damage to digestive and neurological systems. I like that. Hence, a series of connected bio-nano things consisting of various types of engineered bacteria can operate simultaneously to improve test readability and treatment efficiency. So, they're going to put genetically engineered bacteria and E. coli into you just so that they can read the test and treat you efficiently. Okay. Artificial intelligence. This section, there's a lot of rehashing. So basically, they're going to use artificial intelligence. For example, a signal detection algorithm based on neural networks has been shown to achieve good performance without prior knowledge of the molecular channel, thus lending support to the use of statistical inference for characterizing molecular communication channels. Furthermore, a neural network-based nano receiver design has been proposed, which shows a good bit of error rate performance under the effect of intersymbol interference. Yeah, so AI, E. coli, and this is all to help you. Open problems, experimental validation. The theoretical models of molecular communication should be validated under realistic channel environments, which include experimental testing. Okay. I wonder. While the procedures for such experiments should be strictly followed and executed, at times the cost for testing can be remarkably high. Oh boy. Hope you guys are seeing what I'm seeing. Let's see. 2020. Traditionally, these experimental tests have posed really high requirements on lab equipment. It's very expensive, and so we should just use simulations. Yeah. The convergence between analytical and experimental approaches should be a joint effort by researchers across fields in telecommunications, biomedical engineering, and signal processing. Data storage and management. The large data sets obtained from experiments or simulations can have many control variables which require efforts to manage and update. Open databases have become a popular trend for sharing raw data to benefit the entire research community for collaboration, and can be a foreseeable direction for research in the Internet of Bio-Nano Things. And finally, quantum communication. This is the third. We're getting through the final section. We're almost through. The quantum communications is probably the most complex little bit. I will explain what I'm able to, but some of it I just don't understand fully. It is very advanced. So I'm going to take another drink. All right. As networks continue to evolve beyond 6G, they are expected to incorporate more spectrum, a larger variety of transceiver front ends, high complexity and process signals, and stricter requirement on readability, and therefore it is expected that the computational requirements of wireless systems will also increase. To this end, quantum computing has been widely recognized as a key enabling technology for realizing computationally complex systems. Quantum systems are particularly useful for solving complex optimization problems. For example, in the optimal routing problem with multiple objectives, traditional methods, including the geographic routing algorithm, demonstrate significant complexities to yield optimal solutions. and less complex ones often sacrifice optimality. It has been demonstrated that using quantum computing for such problems can efficiently reduce complexity while achieving optimality. However, such computationally intensive tasks often require several hundreds of thousands or millions of interconnected quantum bits, and therefore cannot be performed on a single quantum chip. The need for interconnecting several chips of this kind has given rise to the concept of quantum communications. Quantum communications is thus indispensable for operating quantum systems at scale. More specifically, quantum communications is defined as the exchange of information that adheres to the laws of quantum mechanics and offers several key advantages. 1, the capability of large-scale parallel computation, the ability to transfer data in a tamper-proof manner, and 3, the potential to encode and transmit a large number of multiple data streams simultaneously. So we begin our discussion of quantum communications by describing the following 4 postulates or rules that govern the operation of such systems. And so this is where I will do my best to explain. The first one I understand a little bit. Postulate 1, the quantum bit. Within the context of classical communications, a binary value of either 0 or 1 per bit is used to represent data. On the other hand, in quantum communications, the quantum bit or qubit contains the superposition of both logical values at the same time. So, instead of A or B, it's A and B at the same time, or 1 and 0. This equation, this represents a 2-dimensional vector, which means it has its 2 directions like x and y, with the coefficients a0 and a1 being complex numbers. Now, a complex number, interestingly enough, was what Ted Kaczynski's mathematical research was in, complex numbers and complex analysis. A complex number is complex. It is a real number and an imaginary number. The imaginary number is defined as the square root of -1. Now, there's an issue with that because the square root is essentially saying what number squared gives me this number. So for instance, the square root of 4 is 2 because 2 multiplied by 2 or 2 squared is 4. But you can never multiply 2 negative numbers together and get a negative number. So you can't square root a negative number. -1 times -1 is +1. And -1 times +1, that's not the same number. You're not squaring it that way. And so the imaginary number is not able to exist, but at the same time it must. It must exist because the square root has an inverse, that being to square something. So the square root of 5 squared is just 5. The square root of 102 squared is 102. The square root of 772 squared is 772. But at the same time, the imaginary number must exist because the square root of -1 squared has to be -1. And so the complex number is a real number, such as like 5 plus an imaginary unit. So 5 plus 6i. 5 being the real part, 6i being 6 multiplied by the imaginary unit. Basically, it allows the modeling of the duality. Now, this isn't something that you have to understand, but I'm putting it out there the best way that I can. In quantum computing, the idea that it's 1 and 0 at the same time can be modeled with complex numbers because the imaginary unit exists and does not exist at the same time. And so what they're basically doing here is using a number which can't exist but has to exist to model a phenomena which can't exist but apparently does. All right, postulate 2, the quantum register. Just like computing registers that are used to store multiple bits, quantum registers are used for storing qubits. However, unlike classical registers that are deterministic, the output of a quantum register is probabilistic, i.e., when reading or measuring the quantum register, a different value may be returned each time, thus presenting a major challenge in the implementation of quantum information exchange systems. Postulate 3, exponential speedup. Exponential speed is a key property of quantum information processing systems. We know that classical systems employ parallelization, wherein multiple computing units process parallel streams of data simultaneously. On the other hand, in quantum systems, the entire input information is placed in a single quantum register, and a single quantum computing unit can process multiple register states simultaneously, thus achieving a significant reduction in the time required for computation. The fourth postulate is the QC conversion. Since it is far easier to perceive information in terms of zeros and ones, like classical information, it becomes imperative to interpret the results of any quantum operation in the classical domain. To this end, the classical interpretation of 1 implies that if we were to measure such a qubit, we would receive value 0 with probability, it's the complex number squared, and the value 1 with a 1, the other complex number squared. Again, this isn't important for you to know, so you don't have to pay too much attention to this unless you're interested. It is a bit interesting, but I guess really the only way I can convey it to somebody who doesn't follow me, they're playing with incomprehensibility here. It's incomprehensible and albeit insane for A and B to be true at the same time, yet somehow they're able to use this to their advantage, and that's a very dangerous thing for us because quantum computing has definitely been around for a while, and it's not new, and they didn't have to build it to look like the Tower of Babel. That was a choice. So, yeah. Closely related to the 4 postulates is the concept of entanglement. Entanglement is a phenomenon in which the quantum states of 2 or more particles are described with reference to each other. Within this context, these particles exist in a shared state and are referred to as entangled pairs. Any action on a particle within the entangled pair immediately affects all other particles within that pair, irrespective of the physical separation between them. For example, if a photon traveling through an optical fiber is entangled with another photon outside the fiber, the photon inside the fiber will experience the same effects as those experienced by the photon on the outside. In this case, entanglement serves as a source of noise in the quantum channel. Continuing our discussion of quantum channels, we note that classical information theory does not apply to these channels, which means you can't reason with it. Can't reason with insanity. Unlike traditional wireless communication channels where the large and small scale parameters are deterministic or can be stochastically characterized, the capacity of qubit carrying quantum channels is defined as the rate at which classical or quantum information increases with each use of the quantum channel. Moreover, there exist several different types of capacities for quantum channels: the classical capacity, the quantum capacity, the private capacity, the entanglement-assisted capacity, the zero-error capacity. The classical and quantum capacities are the 2 most commonly used definitions. In particular, while the classical capacity measures classical information transmission over a noisy quantum channel, The quantum capacity represents the amount of quantum information, qubits, that can be transmitted through a noisy quantum channel. Different types of channels. Dephasing channel. It applies a bit flip in the conjugate basis. Here is figure 15, physical entities associated with quantum networks. The depolarizing channel, the worst case scenario, describes the fact that the qubit may be left unchanged with the probability 1 minus p, with p, that means in the domain of 0 or 1, or that an error may occur with probability p. In this case, the error should be one of 3 types, with each being equally likely: the bit flip error, the phase flip error, or both. In the event of an error, it is assumed that the channel replaces the lost qubit with a maximally mixed state, i.e. all states become equally likely. Quantum communication networks. Quantum networks are key to the success of distributed quantum computing, and in turn rely on the ability to share quantum states between different quantum devices. However, unlike conventional networks that are based on the store and forward paradigm, quantum networks must adhere to the no cloning theorem, which prohibits making copies of an arbitrary quantum state. In order to overcome this restriction, quantum networks rely on the concept of entanglement described earlier, along with quantum teleportation. The process of quantum teleportation leverages entanglement to transmit unknown quantum states between remote quantum devices through remote entanglement distribution. Shows you from figure 15. Here, I'll put it up and rush through it. The quantum nodes, these are quantum devices that are interconnected to each other. Communication links, these include both classical as well as quantum links that interconnect the quantum nodes in the network. The entanglement generator, this device is responsible for generating the entangled pairs that are distributed between the quantum nodes. Quantum memories, these are primarily used for storing quantum states for the purpose of communication. And quantum measurement devices, their primary function is the assessment of the generated entanglement states. While the aforementioned entities play a vital role in enabling quantum networks, the process of quantum teleportation is affected by the exponential decay of communication rate with distance, which in turn is offset by the use of quantum repeaters. The routing problem then involves the selection of the optimal path from the source to the destination, traversing one or more quantum repeaters, resulting in a high-quality entanglement distribution. Further, the routing framework must also take cognizance of the fact that the physical mechanisms underlying quantum entanglement are stochastic, and that the passage of time leads to the loss of entanglement between the entangled pair. Expanding upon this, in the following section, we delve into some of the major challenges faced by quantum networks today: quantum error correction, entanglement distribution, deployment challenges, and that is that section. The tentative timeline for 6G is basically the final section. And we're going to, let's see, we're going to zoom out. There we go. Table 2. Let's see, let me get us lined up again. A brief summary of the key performance indicators, impacts, and open problems associated with each key enabling technology for 6G and beyond. The key enabling technology with the terahertz band communications. The key performance indicator impacts the system capacity and the open problems. Fabrication and testing of antenna arrays. Real-time control algorithms and transceivers. Communication protocols for coordination between transmitter, receiver, and reflect arrays and routing protocol design. Intelligent communication environments. Improve system capacity and system latency, but come with a trade-off between dimensions and energy consumption, compatibility with existing solutions, standardization, inclusion of advanced application scenarios, smart resource allocation solutions, AI-driven design and optimization, pervasive artificial intelligence. Basically, all of these here on the key performance indicators are capacity, latency, and management. And the open problems are seemingly more outnumber than what they improve. But again, we're not really looking into any of the military applications here. Pervasive artificial intelligence come with the problems of generalized algorithms for broad use cases, effective comparison metrics, absence of high quality data sets, network automation, accurate intent definitions, automated real-time inference and in-band telemetry, reconfigurable transceiver front ends, the open problems, novel device designs for all spectrum communication, reprogrammable circuitry, interconnects and antennas, novel integration and packaging techniques, and the rest of these. Here is figure 16. We projected timelines. Let's see. It begins right here with this being 2018, and it goes to 2031. And we are here. So, 2020 was when this paper was written. And so 2025 sees the end of key hardware, software, technology demos, research initiatives end, 6G requirements end, study ends, 5G and beyond from end of 2023 to 2031. 6G test beds, 2026. So, beyond 6G study, 6G standardization, 6G evaluation is what we've got coming. So, and of course, it ends on chapter 13. And so, I'm going to give myself a minute to get everything set up for what I'm going to do next. Let me rest my voice for a minute or two. You guys can decompress your brains for a moment, and I will be back with you momentarily. Alrighty. I was just getting the chat and everything ready to go, so go ahead and adjust everything. So hang on just a moment, and we'll be ready to go soon. I hope everybody is doing well. I hope everybody enjoyed this series. It was very, I mean, I know you guys probably felt it might have been a bit of a drag, but it was. That's true. It was definitely a drag. That paper was very, pretty much written in coded language is the way that I see it. And that's what we're going to go ahead and sum up here. Let's see if I can put myself up. There we go. Alrighty. Yeah, so this page here is in the description. It's available to everybody now, but this has basically been a huge running project to have notes on each of the sections. It's going to have the videos. It's going to have all of the images and whatnot. People will be able to view that. And so hopefully people take advantage of that because it has the words, it has links to the images, it has everything from the sections that we've been doing. Let's see. Let me try to adjust that a little bit. We can put that. Leave it there, I guess. All right. Yeah, so what I wanted to go over is just a brief summary of each of the sections. And we're just going to go like rapid fire and we're just going to cut through all the BS soft language. So, let's see. So this is section by section. First section, what do they say? Wireless systems have evolved from 1G to 5G, bringing new applications. 6G is the next step to meet societal needs for higher data rates and global connectivity. What do they really mean? The evolution is simply the tightening of the digital leash. 1 and 2G track the terminal of your phone, 5G tracked your location, 6G tracks the biometrics. The societal needs are the needs of the central bank authority to inventory and manage their human livestock in real time, sets the stage for a world where you cannot disconnect because the network is inside you, or as we learned here with this guy, it's painted on his walls, it's in his beanbag chair, there's nano cameras right there watching him. God forbid him and his wife are in that room alone. The nano cameras are going to be watching them. Jesus. So that's what they really mean. Highlight this, make it big. Boom. There you go. Section 2, use cases. What do they say? 6G will enable holographic teleportation, remote healthcare in Industry 4.0. Total automation. What do they really mean? Holographic teleportation, the metaverse trap, keeping the herd sedated in a fake reality, the matrix of Mendacity, while their physical bodies rot in 15-minute containment zones. There you go. While their bodies rot in 15-minute containment zones. Zoom in a bit. Oop. Lost my spot. Here it is. Remote healthcare, wireless biohacking. Doctors don't touch you. Algorithms adjust your internal chemistry via signals sent to the nanotech inside your body for remote wireless drug delivery. That's really a thing, by the way. Wireless remote drug delivery. What is Industry 4.0? The useless class automating labor so that the human population is no longer needed for production, shifting their status from worker to battery. And we know that's real because they actually use that word, energy harvesting. So they actually wrote this in the paper. 3. Terahertz band communication. What they say, we need to use the terahertz band because it offers huge bandwidth, though it suffers from molecular absorption. What do they really mean? They are moving into the frequency range that interacts directly with biological matter, water, DNA. Molecular absorption means your body absorbs the signal. This is the mechanism for directed energy weaponry, cooking cells, breaking DNA, or triggering specific enzymatic reactions remotely. This is Section 4, Intelligent Communication Environments. What they say, we will coat walls, buildings, and objects with reconfigurable meta surfaces to steer and focus signals, eliminating dead zones. What do they mean? There's no sanctuary. You can't run anywhere. See Section 2 of the Juxtaposition and Urban Odyssey episode, or episode 3. That's what we called it. You can't run anywhere. No, you can run, but you can't hide. The environment itself becomes the weapon. The walls of your house act as a phased array antennas that can focus energy on you wherever you stand. It turns the physical world into a smart mirror that watches you and can beam form energy to correct your behavior. And guess what, guys? Now that's not a conspiracy theory anymore because they figure 14 in the paper. What, guys? I've just showed you that this is not they wrote this in their own paper. And now you guys have the proof and you can show other people the proof. Send them this paper. Send them the link to this paper. Tell them go look at figure 14 and they've got wireless links in the guy's beanbag chair. And nano cameras on his wall. Section 5, Pervasive Artificial Intelligence. What they say, AI will be integrated into every layer of the network to manage resources and optimize performance without human intervention. What do they really mean? The HAL 9000 or the all-seeing eye. Removing humans from the kill chain, the AI decides who communicates, who moves, who gets throttled or suffocated digitally. It creates a self-regulating tyranny where the algorithm punishes non-compliance instantly with no human to appeal to. Absolutely show us in plain sight. Boom. Absolutely. Here, I will happily feature people's comments or answer questions. So please, I appreciate people who have waited for me to get everything wrapped up. So if you do have questions, comments, concerns, now is the time. I'm more than happy to answer those for you guys. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. My bad. There you go. Yeah, so Section 5. Move that out of the way. There you go. Oh, my bad. Hold up. There we go. Cool. My bad. Okay. Yeah, so Section 5, Pervasive Artificial Intelligence. What they say is that AI What they say. Let's try it again. AI will be integrated into every layer of the network. Resources will be managed and optimized performance without human intervention. And so, translating all of this, what that means is that this is just the HAL 9000. Removes humans from the kill chain. The AI decides who communicates, who moves, and who gets throttled, suffocated. Digitally, it creates a self-regulating tyranny where the algorithm punishes non-compliance instantly with no human to appeal to. And again, this will be available to everybody. Tony Polarnesco knew the nano buckets were a threat to this tech empire. Yeah, people really underestimate, and that was one of the reasons that I put this together, was that I wanted people to understand, like, when they start talking about nanoscale, and that last couple sections that we read just a minute ago talked about the scales of the waves and that quantum information. Like, they're messing with stuff that's just, in my opinion, way beyond things that humans should be messing with. I mean, once you start doing this, it's like if you have billions of dollars to just throw wherever you want, and you're getting these results back. I guess money rules the world for them, and so they're just going to keep going until they open a can of worms that they can't close, which may or may not have already happened. I truly don't know the answer to that. Section 6, which is network automation. What they say, networks will become self-driving and self-healing, configuring themselves automatically using software-defined networking. What does that mean? The inescapable dragnet. The control grid adapts faster than you can run. If you try to hide or jam a signal, the network automatically reconfigures to find you. It is the automated tyranny of the infrastructure, ensuring the liquid prison flows around any obstacle. 6G radio, section 7, reconfigurable transceivers, shapeshifting. What they say, hardware must be able to change frequency and function instantly, using materials like graphene to operate across all bands. So what do they really mean? Admission that graphene is essential for the interface, because remember, that's been a conspiracy theory for a very long time, but not anymore, because they admit it. It confirms that if graphene is introduced into the body via Vaxxer chemtrails, it acts as a tunable antenna. The system can change frequencies to match your personal bioresonance, locking onto you like a guided missile. Section 8, ambient backscatter. The vampire network. What they say, devices will communicate without batteries by harvesting existing RF energy from the air. I mean, they pretty much say it on that one. So what they really mean, the smart dust or MEMS or NEMS, we can use those interchangeably, because smart dust is a nanoscale electromechanical device. So inside the NEMS, MEMS, smart dust inside you doesn't need a battery. It runs off of the radiation tower down the street. It creates a zero power surveillance state that can never be turned off, because it feeds on the background radiation or electrosmog of the modern world. Section 9, the Internet of Space Things. What they say, using CubeSats and UAVs to provide internet to remote areas and ensure global coverage. Obviously, it's Skynet, guys. It's just the roof of the prison. Ensuring that there is no place on Earth, not the desert, not the ocean, where you are not tracked. Drones and satellites form a 3D kill web to target dissidents who try to flee the smart cities. Section 10, self-free massive MIMO, the liquid prison. What they say, moving away from cells, towers covering an area, to user-centric coverage, where many access points serve one user simultaneously. That's what they say. In reality, it's the swarm. Instead of you driving past a tower, the network surrounds you like a swarm of bees. The cell travels with you. You are the center of a focused bubble of radiation that follows you everywhere, ensuring favorable propagation at a perfect shot for data extraction and energy delivery. Section 11, Technologies Beyond 6G. What they say, future technology includes the Internet of Nano Things, sensors in the body, the Internet of Bio-Nano Things, biological cells communicating with the net, and in reality, it's just the end of traditional humanity. No way to kind of sugarcoat that. This is the bio-digital convergence, integrating all of these NEMS, MEMS, smart dust, smart devices, smart vacuum, smart car, smart refrigerator, an engineered synthetic biology, which means it's a bit of, doesn't really make sense. Synthetic, fake biology, like naturally things that come from the earth, into the human body to connect it to the web. It is the colonization of the bloodstream by the central bank authority, turning you into a thing on the Internet of Things. Boom. Spiritual warfare. Absolutely. Absolutely. Tentative timeline. What do they say? The research is ongoing with standardization expected around 2025 and deployment by 2030. It's already here. They always announce the technology 20 years after they deployed it militarily. The timeline is for the public rollout of the chains they have already forged. The smart dust is already in the air. The graphene is already in the blood. They're just turning the switch. The final warning, what they say, 6G will provide ubiquitous wireless connectivity for all and transform the world. It'll be the dawn of a new day, is what they say. But in reality, just means inescapable. Connectivity for all means privacy for none. The conclusion confirms the goal is total encirclement of the human species by a digital control grid from which there is no exit, turning the planet into a managed electronic feedlot, human husbandry. So that was basically just a very simple run through of all of the sections and telling you what they really said. A lot of these they just spell out for you, like you don't even have to try, but sometimes the words are big, sometimes there are acronyms, and so I've done a lot of work to catalog as many of those as I can, and I'm literally going to be adding to that whenever I find new words. Right now it's almost at 200. There should be a link in the description if you're on Rumble, if you're on YouTube, Odyssey. Yeah, I'll make it available everywhere. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to basically prove to you that this is just applied linguistics, that this is really just deliberately written and worded in such an advanced way on purpose. The 6G and Beyond white paper is a masterpiece of applied linguistics warfare. It is not merely obfuscating plans for human augmentation. It is a military declaration of war against human sovereignty, cloaked in the banal, sterile drag of academic engineering. Every paragraph is a deployed weapon of semantic deceit designed to bore the profane reader while signaling the construction of the digital prison to the initiated technocrats. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I just wanted to make this available to people because in this last episode, I wanted to do it live for a variety of reasons, but I also wanted to hopefully answer any types of questions or just hear what people think. But this last section has been very revealing. Like I did go through and I did the highlights and stuff before, but I was kind of just skim reading it. But just like the last section was just crazy, actually. But I'm glad that people found this useful. I hope people will bookmark the link, save it, save the playlist, and send it to whoever you need to send it to. Share it, please, by all means. And this page here will be in, it should already be in Rumble and YouTube description. I think it's near the bottom of where it says links. It's at the bottom. And this page right here has all of the videos. It has all of the figures. So like the little image diagrams that they provide. It'll have all of that. Yeah, it was a drag. It was boring. It was very boring. And it was hard to read all of these words, tongue twisters. But we did it. And what I do after this, I'm going to look more briefly at planar things. So I'm not going to do any huge read-throughs like this unless I have to. Unless there's one that's like requested or that I have to do. But we're going to start looking at other things in the future. Let's see. The document deliberately frames the bio-digital convergence, or the merging of human biology with the machine control grid, as connectivity, healthcare, and efficiency. They do. That's it pops up pretty much in every section. We're going to connect to everybody. This is for healthcare, and it's more efficient. And to a degree, from where they are standing, like if you were them, those things are kind of happening. It is going to connect. Like if you're a billionaire who owns all of these different data centers, yeah, this will connect all of your $1 billion data centers. If you sell medicine or vaccinations, it'll be for healthcare, and this is all going to be much more efficient once everybody is traced, tracked, and targeted. So that's true, but at the same time, I struggle to believe that they're really just that. Like they look at this just like completely positive. There's nothing that it could go wrong, and I think that's the result of messing with all of the nano stuff. Like when you're messing with stuff that you don't have any business messing with, it gives you this superiority complex, and now they think they're God. They really do. One, the Internet of Bio-Nano Things is the parasite in the blood. The most glaring obfuscation lies in the white paper's discussion of the Internet of Bio-Nano Things. The paper describes the Internet of Bio-Nano Things as interconnected nano devices functioning inside the body for advanced healthcare, remote diagnosis, and preventing the spread of infectious diseases. The truth is that this is the internal surveillance mesh. By labeling those devices as bio-nano things, the authors dehumanize the subject. You are no longer a person, you are a container for things that possess IP addresses or MAC addresses. The text explicitly states that these devices passively flow through the bloodstream and perform actions upon command. This is the admission of remote-controlled biology. They are not curing you. They are installing the hardware to read and write your biological state. Absolutely. Absolutely. It is. I wanted to do this section here because I wanted to make absolutely clear that this is written by a snake. You read this and it sounds like you could hear the hiss in it. And that was in all of the sections. Maybe the first 1 or 2 sections are okay, but then once you get into some of this stuff, it's just like, especially if you take them at face value, it's easy to be deceived. But if you understand what they really mean by just a few of these different things, and like we were doing in the first couple of episodes, trying to look up different words and define words and terms that we don't know, then you can see. Sorry, I gotta get a drink because my throat is getting dry. Yeah. Terahertz band communications, resonance weapon. The white paper obsessively focuses on the terahertz band I'll show you in a minute. They claim that this band is necessary for terabit per second level data rates and holographic teleportation. So yeah, in terms of they do have all kinds of citations and whatnot. Those are going to be for you guys, but here's what I'll do. Here is where you can find everything. Let me put that up on the screen for you. There you go. It's scrolling across the top of the screen. Husbandry.officialurban.com. That's like a forwarded link. It'll take you to my downloads page. There is all kinds of stuff on that page. There is, first and foremost, it will say start here. Synergist 3 PDF manual. That is like 2,000 or 3,000 pages. It is a copy of the dictionary. It is a collection of different white papers. The first one that is started in that section is the paper that this whole series was about. Let me see if I can pull it up a moment. This right here is where that URL that's scrolling across the top of the screen, husbandry.officialurban.com. It will take you to this page, and this is where you should start. You can download it. (2,606 pages, and it does have bookmarks. Starts with some information on Sabrina Wallace, who has been instrumental in helping people understand these things. Gives you some images in section 2. And then in section 3, gives you a brief introduction. It gets into, as I said, the 6G and beyond paper that we just did. We read this whole thing. And then past that, the bulk of this paper on the side here, these are just different white papers, and I am going to show some of these to you soon. So for instance, let's see. Find a good one. Some of these are very open. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. Energy harvesting based wireless body area networks. Energy harvesting optimization methods. So this is just full of information. I highly encourage people to grab a copy of this. This page has also got other things. It's got, I'm going to update it with all of the episodes. It's got links to the playlist. That's the Twitter thread. You can listen to it on Spotify. Spotify gets the video episodes. You can like watch them on Spotify. But the podcast is pushed to all of the different podcast players, but all the other players just get the audio. So if you want to watch the video, you can find it on Substack, Odyssey. It'll be on BitChute. It'll be on YouTube. It'll be on Rump. It'll be everywhere. This right here is the directory that I've set up. You can search. I've got it because of the way it displays. I have it set currently to just display 5 results per page, but right here is where you can just go to the next page, or you can search. So human husbandry. Human husbandry. And for instance, let's see. If you were on a phone, this would look much better. I have the whole thing set up. But yes, you can find that at the URL that's going across the top of the screen. So yeah, it talks a lot about the terahertz band. The terahertz band, it lays between microwaves and microwaves, millimeter waves, then the terahertz band, and then after that you have infrared. Let's see. Yeah, so like for instance, right here, that you can see. Awesome, thank you. Here we go. Put that up for everybody. Whoever is interested, please check out this resource. I haven't seen this yet, but I'm going to look at it after we wrap this up. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. I really am. Anybody who knows about this stuff or who understands it, who can articulate it. That's the hardest part, is reading the paper and then conveying to you what it actually means, not what it, not the coded language, what it actually means. So, Sabrina Wallace, the Shanda, who you just suggested to me, is another one. Juxtaposition and I do a weekly show that's on Tuesdays, and we do a Zoom star chamber investigation. He does 2 a week, but I'm usually at the Wednesday one. And we usually investigate like different murders or groups or whatnot. That's always interesting. But people who understand, have the hands-on experience, who have worked in these fields, very important to talk to and look into those people. So I appreciate that recommendation. Thank you. But this is figure 3 here. Microwaves and then millimeter waves right here. The terahertz band, that's 10 to the 11th. That's 10 to the 13th. And then infrared. So see, I've got all the videos. That's the Substack article. There's some patent. There's a good page to check out. There's what it looks like. That's smart dust. And it'll give you words. This page is huge. Basically, I have actually been adding to this page every time I do an episode, and I put the episodes out to you guys. I would update this page, and so this has just been a huge set of notes, and it's public. You guys can access it for free. They're moving into the frequency range that interacts directly with the biological matter, such as water and DNA. Molecular absorption means that your body absorbs the signal. This is the mechanism for directed energy weaponry, cooking cells, breaking DNA, or triggering specific enzymatic reactions remotely. Intelligent communication environments. I think I might have done this section already. Here it is. Terahertz band is historically known as the gap. It was a gap that they really couldn't work with until terahertz came and bridged it. The terahertz band solved a lot of problems that allowed them to do more of this research. It was historically known as the gap because it matches the resonant frequencies of biological molecules, such as DNA, water, and proteins. The white paper admits the channel is affected by molecular absorption. In my notebook is what that is. This means that the signal couples with your biology. They are not transmitting data past you. They are transmitting data into you. The attenuation they describe is your body absorbing the energy of the control grid. Intelligent communication environments. So what these are the meta materials, essentially, in a very simple explanation. They can control how much light is reflected. They can control how energy moves over these very small chips, these MEMS, micro electromechanical systems, MEMS or NEMS, nano electromechanical systems. So these little tiny specks of dust, they can literally control every one of them individually and say how much light does it reflect, etc. And that is why you look up in the sky and you see that glare. It's because if this stuff sits up in the air, up in the sky, if they can keep it kind of in between the sun and us, when the sun hits it, they can use it. They can do whatever they want with it. They can use the energy and program where that energy goes. Very advanced stuff. Very, very advanced stuff. But yeah, if you look up and the sky looks hazy, if you see, let's see, uh, that, if you go outside and it looks like that's not snow, it's fog. So if you go out and it's foggy and you hold up a light to it and you see the little, it looks like you're in a snow globe, and nobody's ever seen that before. Like, that's very new, maybe the last couple of years. That is sitting up in the sky, and it can be used to control what light gets through it, how much is reflected, which way it goes, and they can steer the beams. They can steer the beams. Yeah, so these surfaces control signal propagation. Oh, sorry. They can mix this into like paint. That's why the guy's walls were spying on him. Yeah, it could be put in paint. For instance, like the LED street lights, like they were all purple. That's probably why. Yeah, these surfaces control signal propagation to improve coverage and eliminate dead zones. This is the construction of the kill box. By making the environment intelligent, they turn the physical world into a phased array weapon. The environment itself becomes the sensor and the shooter. The paper admits these surfaces can focus electromagnetic waves. This allows the system to target a specific individual human activity recognition within a room and bombard them with specific frequencies, ensuring there is no sanctuary from the grid. There is a project here, programmable meta surfaces, the Visor Surf project, and so you can check that out. That is its own page in and of itself. I've done notes on that just because I wanted to know more. This is from section 4. If you remember this diagram, pervasive artificial intelligence, the automated warden. Section 5 details pervasive, which means they're going to put it in everything. Pervasive means like pervading, working its way through a medium, integrated into every layer of the network. They claim in their applied linguistic soft language that AI is used for network management, resource allocation, and self-healing. Again, we've already established this as the all-seeing eye, HAL 9000 governing the herd. The AI acts as the knowledge plane, making decisions without human intervention, just like all of the Lavender software, the Where's Daddy software. Yes, that's, they just look it up. Don't use Google. You got to use the index because all of this stuff is just basically censored. Here, let's see. Let me find it real quick. Yeah, so Yandex right here is Yandex. If you haven't used Yandex, it is a search engine that will still give you information that's not been censored, at least more so than Google. And so I'm actually just going to show you the Yandex results first, and then we're just going to Google the same thing and show you what Google will tell you. So I Yandex, where's Daddy AI software. Where's Daddy is an AI system used by the Israeli military to track suspected Hamas militants to their homes. The system is designed to send an alert to intelligence officers when these individuals enter their homes. This allows the Israeli military to carry out bombings when the suspects are at home with their families. And they've literally called this Where's Daddy. So that's Yandex. Now let's do Google. Yeah, Google gives you some information about it. First you get Human Rights Watch. You do get a little bit of information on it, so I guess that's good. But I would still use Yandex because this one gives you information, but not everything else does. Yandex is far superior to Google, but you're free to use whichever one you like. Yeah, let's see. Where did yeah, without human intervention. So stuff like that is what we're talking about here. Removes the human loop from the kill chain. Usually what they'll do is the AI will just say, hey, do you want to take the shot? And there will be one person that gets to say yes or no. That's it. That'll probably be going away soon too. Yeah, absolutely. I feel you. Yeah, or it's like Oracle, it's like all of these groups. If you start to look into like the technology, who's doing the research, you start to see how much they kind of go together. For instance, like we did a couple weeks back, we did a show on the juxtaposition star chamber on UC Berkeley, and he had found that something like, and the numbers were approximately, let me get this right, it's like 60 to 70% of the money that was coming into UC Berkeley was from grants from the government, research grants, because UC Berkeley is a national land grant research university, meaning they have been given their land originally to do this research for the government. The government gives them all this money, and they have their campus, but then they also have underground facilities in the desert. That's one. Then they have another above ground facility, and then they have the campus. So something like 60 to 70% of the money that Berkeley, and I would wager that probably a lot of the other Ivy Leagues are about the same. About 60 to 70% of the money they were bringing in was from their research grants for military weapons, for military technology, and all of this starts as military technology, and then it is allowed to be sold for money and profit. And something like 30, maybe 40%, it's like the minority is coming from tuition. So these Ivy League universities are first and foremost weapons depots, weapon manufacturing factories and research labs first, and then they are schools and universities. Very important for people to understand that. That changes the whole understand it. You understand. Oh, that makes a lot makes a lot of sense now. And I think I have a buddy of mine. I think he went to Berkeley for a while, and so if he is watching this, maybe that puts some things into place. Graphene-based plasmonics. The interface. The document repeatedly hypes graphene as the material necessary for terahertz communications. They say graphene allows for the miniaturization in tunable antennas. Truth, graphene is the black goo. Now, there's a documentary on my Substack. If you go to my Substack and you go to the search bar and you just type in Stranger Things, there's a documentary on there, and it talks about the black goo. And if you've seen the Stranger Things, this nanomaterial, this programmable matter, is the black goo. When I update everything, I'll put a backlink to that documentary. It's highly suggested. You should watch that, especially if you've watched this series here and we've gone through the paper. Go watch that. So graphene is the black goo interface. It is the only material capable of bridging the gap between biological tissue and electronic signals at the nanoscale. The white paper admits graphene antennas can be electronically tuned by applying voltage. This confirms that if graphene is introduced into the body via pollution or healthcare, the body becomes a remotely tunable antenna for the 6G, 7G grid. Smart dust. Pretty much. I think that's it. I think that's where I'm gonna wrap it up. Does anybody, before we end this, before we get everything closed out, does anybody have any questions, comments, concerns, anything? I would like to give everybody that opportunity before we close everything out. I hope you guys know more than you did before. I hope you guys learned something. And really, if you learned one or two things, that's okay. If you learn one new thing in everything that you do, it can't be a worthless experience. You know, so if you learn from your mistake, like if you make just a mistake, an outright mistake, and if you learn from it, well, that means you at least gained something, and so it's not worthless. It is a mistake that was worth something because you learned from your mistakes. But if you learned one thing, two things, if you learned 100 things from watching these videos, I hope you understand better what's being done. At least this was a 2020. This paper that we just did was from 2020. And we're going to have much shorter, bite-sized stuff that I will be doing in the future. I'm not going to do a huge thing like this for a while. I know you guys are probably, this is enough for now. But we've got good stuff coming in the future. The project series that I'm doing with juxtaposition, we've called it the Matrix of Mendacity Masterclass. So that's every Tuesday. We do that at around 4:30 on the East Coast. He's on the West Coast, so it's 1:30 for him. But that's every Tuesday. And I want to start doing some more regular shows or live streams or whatnot. So, guys, if nobody has any last questions or thoughts or concerns, I think we're going to put a pin in it. We're going to wrap everything up and let you guys go and enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys. So, thank you all for sticking with me, for those of you who have gotten through the whole thing. For those of you that haven't, you're more than welcome to take it slowly. I mean, if you just want to watch a video per week and that's what you want to do, please, by all means. These will always remain free for you. I want to make these available to as many people as possible. So please share them. If you have people who think this is just crazy talk, now you can send them my videos. Anybody else's videos, you don't have to send them mine. I would appreciate if you send them mine, but if there's somebody who's smarter than me, and Lord knows there's a lot of people who are smarter than me, send them videos they need, send them information they need to show them what the hell's going on. Because if enough people realize this, at least consciously, like, hey, this is what's going on, I'm not going to lie to myself anymore, then that's progress, at least in my book. Because people right now get a glimpse of what's going on and it scares the living hell out of them, and so they make themselves forget, and we can't do that. We cannot forget what's going on, and we have to get out of this left and right BS. It's not real. None of it's real. The left and right thing is just real as WWE wrestling. If you ever watched wrestling, if you ever watched boxing, it's the same thing. Doesn't matter. And if we don't get out of the left and right thing, we'll never solve this. So this isn't about sides anymore. This is us, carbon, living, breathing humans versus black goo. All right, guys. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Take care, everybody.